Hey coin collectors, and welcome to the DC Coin World International coin channel. And today we have the Franklin half from 1959. This is Ben Franklin facing to the right. It says Liberty over his head. In God we trust down here underneath him. This is the coin that was designed by John R. Cynic on the front and John Frederick Lewis on the back. And if you want to find John Cynic's initials, you can just look right down here underneath and you see J.R. Cynic. But if you want to find John Frederick Lewis's initials, you are not going to see them on this coin. You see the back says United States of America, $half here, E pluribus unum, and then that's the Liberty Bell from Philadelphia, and there's an eagle over to the right, over to our right, almost like doing a flex over here. You see there's a bell ringer underneath. You see there's a crack through the bell. If you have a really good quality one, we'll show you one of those later, you can actually read the words on the bell. And then at the bottom here, there are lines that go across the bell. And that's how you can determine how valuable this is, if it has the bell lines on it. If you have full bell lines that go all the way across here, you could be talking about a huge amount of money for a Franklin half from 1959. They made $6.2 million at Philadelphia, and you can tell Philadelphia because it doesn't have any mint mark up here. And this is where the mint mark is, right up on the back underneath the E. At the Philadelphia Mint, the highest priced one right now is worth $30,000. They've found 5 Mint State 68s. PCGS estimates that the graded Mint State 68s are worth $30,000. And that's, of course, with a full bell line. Now, this is the other mint that they made them at, and that's the Denver Mint. And you can tell the Denver Mint because it has the D up here above the bell. At Denver, they made $13 million, and the most expensive ones right now are a Mint State 67.5, 67 plus, and those go for as much as $27,500. So these are very, very valuable. Even in this shape, they're worth $15 to $20. Why is that? Because they have about $14 in silver value alone in them. These coins weigh 12.5 grams, and that's 12.5 grams of 90% silver, 10% copper. Now, there is one other coin you might see sometimes, and that is the proof coin. And if you get a proof coin, it's going to look like this, and it's really shiny. And you'll notice that the proof coin doesn't have a symbol up above the bell. And that's because the proof coins were made in Philadelphia also. But here's the deal. You are never going to mistake this coin for this coin. If you have a proof coin, it came from a proof set. They made 1.1 million proof sets. You almost never see them out of the proof sets, except we buy broken proof sets sometimes. And you won't be able to confuse them. If there's no mint mark above the top and it's shiny, that's a proof coin. If there's no mint mark above the top and it's not shiny, like this, then it's a regular Philadelphia coin. Now, what about these words on the back? Well, there you go. If you tip it up just right, you can actually see the 2 lines of words here, plus the words going across here. You can see the break in the bell, and then down here at the bottom, you can see how these bell lines go across. See the 3 bell lines there that go across, and the 2 bell lines, 2 plus really, because it breaks up near where the ringer is, that go across here. That's where you get your full bell lines. But in a proof half, full bell lines don't matter because they should all have pretty close to full bell lines on them. Now, what about the prices for these proof coins? Well, it turns out that there is a proof coin called a deep cameo proof, where the bell and Franklin's image on the front just are polished differently. There's a deep cameo proof, proof 69 from 1959, that's estimated to be worth $50,000. They've only found one. And just because you don't have a deep cameo, now this is not a deep cameo or a cameo, but a regular cameo can still be worth $12,500. And the trick is you're going to have to get it graded if you think you're even close to that in order to get that kind of money. Now, the $half in 1959 the Franklin half dollars in 1959 didn't have much time to go. It turns out that they were first made in 1948. They followed up on the Walking Liberty half. So in 1947, the Walking Liberty halves. In 1948, on the 200th birthday, I believe, of Franklin's birth, 200th anniversary of Franklin's birth, they came out with the Ben Franklin halves. From 1948 until 1964, they made this Ben Franklin half. And then, unfortunately, in 1964, they came out with the Kennedy half. Unfortunately, because the way President Kennedy got a half was he was assassinated. So when he was killed in 1963, immediately they stopped making the Franklin halves. They went to make the 1964 Kennedy halves. And again, these are 90%. 90% silver for just 1 year, 1964. After 1964, the halves went to 40% silver. But that means that this one's also worth a minimum of $14. Now, they continue to make the Kennedy halves. In fact, there's a 2025 version of it. This is a Denver one, as you can see. And you can see that this is in really, really good shape. And you can also see that it has copper in it. So this is what they call a clad Kennedy half. In 2025, they only make the clad versions for regular sale or circulation, but they do make a silver proof version that's worth the huge bucks. All right, so let's get back to so if you're looking for one of these Franklin halves, they're probably going to be worth $15. They're probably going to be worth a minimum of $15, but many of them are not going to be worth much more than that, because this is a case where the silver bullion value outweighs the collector value for many of these coins. So what that means is that collectors would be willing to pay, say, $8 or $10 for these, but because they're worth $14 in silver, collectors have to pay the silver value plus a couple bucks more. Not highly sought after unless they're in incredibly good condition, or 1959 also had some error coins. The 1959 double die is one of those, and that could be worth a lot of money. And then there's also a 1959 die break error where you can see a die, the coin actually has a break through it, and that's worth a lot of money. All right, well, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.